If you want to know how I feel about all of Scott Pilgrim, you'll have to make it through my first 7 Evil X reviews, where I talk about the first 7 episodes, and then I talk about the last one, because there's 8 of them, so this joke kind of fell through. Anyways, yeah, I'm talking about all the episodes of Scott Pilgrim in order, and I'm going to be releasing one video on each of them. So, this is episode 1, because I thought, I want to do something different for the month of December. And, Scott Pilgrim's only 8 episodes long, or Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, so why don't I talk about it? Because, unlike most things, I just want to talk about this because I really like Scott Pilgrim. I think Scott Pilgrim, the movie, is really, really good. I've watched the movie multiple times. I've only read the comics once, though. So I'm not, as refreshed on that. But I enjoyed the comics for what they were, even though there was some weirdness in them. And over the course of this year, it was announced that, hey, there's a Scott Pilgrim anime being made, and it's out. It's been out for a while now, and I finally have gotten around to watching it. As of recording right now, I've only watched episode 1, and here are my thoughts. I really, really like the direction this anime is taking. I thought initially, when it was announced that there was going to be a Scott Pilgrim, anime, that all it was going to be was just, the movie, but animated in the style of the comics, which I would not have been opposed to. Just to be clear, I would not have been opposed to that, because I love the art style of the comics. I think the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World art style is, it's really charming, and I really like it, but it can also be, really, really striking, and very, very cool and memorable in certain ways, even though it kind of looks a bit goofy. Some of the character designs don't necessarily translate the best to live action, so keeping it animated keeps some of the quirks of those characters intact more, and I really like that. But I was kind of worried, but not totally upset with the fact that, yeah, this could just be a total retelling of the movie, but in animated form. But when the episode got to the ending, and we stopped hitting some of the same beats, the further this first episode got along, the more it got disconnected from the movie, I noticed, where a lot of scenes were just kind of skipped. Not that I'm opposed to that, because I think a flaw of the movie and of Scott Pilgrim as a whole is that there's a lot of characters that get introduced, and some of them only have one purpose, and then they're just kind of dropped immediately after that. So by combining some characters, the guy who knows everyone at the party, just make that Julie, because it's Julie's party. I think changes like that are really good. But as the episode kept going, I was like, oh, we removed Crash and the Boys. Bro, I love Crash and the Boys. They had some of my favorite jokes.
These are the boys.
Is that girl a boy too?
Yes.
They have a girl drummer.
Not a race, guys.
Alright, this next song goes out to the guy who keeps yelling from the balcony. It's called We Hate You, Please Die.
Sweet. Love this one.
That's one of my favorite segments in the entire movie. It's just the entire, first performance in front of an audience, and then also the fight with Matthew, which is, funnily enough, the part which episode 1 leaves off at, which I kind of predicted, because I was like, okay, if it's going to retell the movie, then episode 1 would get up to Matthew, episode 2 would be Lucas Lee, episode 3 would be Todd, it'd just be in order up until episode 8, which would just be a finale or some kind of new ending, because 7 Evil X's, 7 episodes, and then the 8th one, which is just the epilogue, I guess. But no, surprisingly, this, anime is taking a completely different route by killing Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim got dusted. He got diced by Matthew, which dubs for my boy. I love Matthew. Matthew's one of my favorite Evil X's, just in terms of, how goofy he is. And the line he had, probably my favorite joke from this episode, is the line he had where he's just oh, wait, did you just say he's dating a 17-year-old?
Scott Pilgrim is dating a high schooler.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say he's dating a high schooler?
But I'm really vibing with this, anime so far. I really like it, and I'm really enjoying it. I think the art style has been very faithfully recreated in this format. I think that the animation really elevates some moments. The one thing I have, a gripe with is the fact that, I'm really happy they got all the casting characters and all the people who were a part of the original Scott Pilgrim project to be a part of this one. I'm actually really happy they did that, because I think one of the best parts of the movie is the fact that you have all these different actors and actresses just really in their element. They're having a lot of fun with this production. Clearly, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff where they're all just laughing and cracking jokes and just having a great time. A lot of them are outside of their comfort zones, but they're having a great time, and I really appreciate that, because when actors have chemistry on set, it translates to in the movie. I think the reason why, like, all the sex bomb scenes and all the scenes of, like, Steven freaking out with his band and everyone, like, talking to him, they're talking like real people. There's a scene very early on in the movie where they're all just kind of like sitting in a room on a bed and like they're just chilling, they're just talking. I love all the scenes where they're just like talking with each other. I could watch a whole movie where it's just Sex Bomb trying to get a good gig. Like, I genuinely could. I love this group of characters and their interactions, especially young Neil. I wish there was more young Neil in the movie. But I think an unfortunate byproduct is the fact that, like, I don't think a lot of these actors and actresses are voice actors and voice actresses, because specifically Scott, like Michael Cera sounds like he's being dubbed over at gunpoint at some points. And look, I understand that like acting doesn't translate to voice acting. I get that. But his performance sounds so weird as Scott when he was like just in my mind always the Scott Pilgrim, because like his live action performance is so good.
You know this one girl with hair like this? Do you know this one girl with hair like this?
So it's kind of sad that like his performance so far in the anime is like really stilted and awkward. And like Scott's an awkward guy. He's a very anxious, awkward guy, but like he's not like this robotic at times. I don't know how to explain it fully, but I think everyone will agree with me in the fact that like his performance in the movie is a lot better. But I think where the performances and voices like kind of aren't as good, the animation more than makes up with it, and the direction too. I really like the opening, I really like the ending song, and I'm really excited to kind of see where this anime goes next, because this is all uncharted waters. Like, Scott never lost to Matthew in any form of media that I can tell, so I have no idea what adaptation this is following, or if it's just doing its own thing at this point, which I would not be opposed to. Because one thing is that Scott is like the most developed character in the movies, and I really would have loved to get more scenes with like Steven, Kim, fucking, I could always go for more Wallace, Envy. Envy gets dropped in the movie after a certain point. It's a big bummer because like, I wish she had more character. Like, I'm really excited to see where this goes because I have no idea. So if I had to give like a score to the first episode, in terms of like just my enjoyment, I'd probably give it like a 4 out of 5. I'm really hyped, and I can't wait to watch episode 2.